Fiery Sunset Showdown over criminal Neta's bill.
आप 72 के नियम के तहत बोलिए।
Game changer bill to oust criminals in power. Prime Minister, Chief Ministers, Ministers face axe if held for 30 days.
मूलभूत ढांचा वो ये कहता है
Centre's new bill vows political cleanup.
महोदय मैं प्रस्ताव करता हूं कि भारत के संविधान का संशोधन करने वाले विधेयक को पुनर्स्थापित करने की अनुमति दी जाए.
Opposition brands it a draconian overreach.
We are going back to medieval times when the king could just remove anybody at will. There's no concept of what an elected person is. He doesn't like your face, so he tells ED, put a case, and then democratically elected person is wiped out within 30 days. This is new.
Criminal Neta's bill. That is our top focus on NewsTrack.
Good evening. You're watching NewsTrack with me, Marya, Shakil. Parliament today witnessed a stormy session, and the session storm was because of a crucial legislation. Torn papers flew across the Lok Sabha, opposition MPs stormed the well, and slogans echoed as Union Home Minister Amit Shah sought to introduce 3 key bills, including the 130th Constitution Amendment Bill, now dubbed as the Criminal Neta Bill. At the heart of the uproar is a game-changing proposal. Any minister, chief minister, prime minister jailed for 30 consecutive days on serious charges would automatically lose office on day 31, even without conviction. The government calls it a bold step towards accountability and zero tolerance for crime in politics. The opposition says that this is unconstitutional, dangerous, and a political weapon aimed at destabilizing elected governments. The bills have now been referred to a Joint Parliamentary Committee, but the NDA will need a 2/3 majority to ensure that this bill is passed. We have top lawmakers lined up for you on the show, but first up, here's what happened today.
नोहा तो किया जा सकता है, लेकिन तरीका को सुधार लो आप. मैं आपको भारत की संसद की मर्यादा बनाने के लिए बार-बार आग्रह करता हूं.
A stormy day in Parliament.
This bill is squarely destructive.
As the other 2 bills, I strongly oppose. When he was the Home Minister of Gujarat.
Unprecedented scenes, torn papers, and loud protests. At the heart of it, 3 explosive bills, introduced by Union Home Minister Amit Shah. The Constitution 130th Amendment Bill, the Government of Union Territories Amendment Bill, and the Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Amendment Bill 2025.
महोदय मैं प्रस्ताव करता हूं कि भारत के संविधान का संशोधन करने वाले विधेयक को पुनर्स्थापित करने की अनुमति दी जाए.
The moment Home Minister Shah rose to speak, chaos erupted.
जम्मू कश्मीर पुनर्गठन अधिनियम 2019 का संशोधन.
Opposition MPs stormed the well of the House, tore up copies of the bills and hurled them towards the Home Minister, nearly snatching away his mic amid sloganeering. But opposition leaders allege that female MPs were pushed and heckled by BJP members.
आज देश से हम पूछते हैं कि नैतिकता क्या है? क्या देश जेल से चल सकती है? नहीं चल सकती है. यही ये विधेयक कहता है, जिसको फाड़ करके हमारे स्पीकर के साथ दुर्व्यवहार करने की कोशिश की गई. वो स्पीकर सबके हैं, और माननीय गृह मंत्री के साथ जिस प्रकार का आज व्यवहार किया गया है, जिस प्रकार सदन की मान्यता को खंडित किया गया है, यह अपने आप में लज्जाजनक है.
जब अमित शाह का सामने जब स्लोगन दे रहे थे, उस टाइम बिट्टू एंड रिज्जू वो लोग हमारा 2 MP लेडी MP, एक है शताब्दी राय और मिताली को, उनको उन दोनों को मारने के लिए आया है। क्या बोल रहे हैं आप? हमारा अंदर कोई तो कोई ना बिल फाड़ा है, ठीक है, तो उसमें क्या है? हम तो स्लोगन दे रहे थे।
The flashpoint, a sweeping provision that could disqualify even the Prime Minister, a Chief Minister, or any minister if they remain in custody for 30 consecutive days on charges carrying a minimum sentence of 5 years. No conviction required. Removal would be automatic on day 31.
Can I ask a question to the Honorable Home Minister? When he was the Home Minister of Gujarat, he had been arrested, sir. Whether he took the morality of that point of time,
ये विषय नहीं है,
morality of that point of time.
गृहमंत्री जी, गृहमंत्री जी।
माननीय अध्यक्ष जी, मैं रिकॉर्ड क्लियर करना चाहता हूं। मुझ पर झूठे आरोप लगाए तब अरेस्ट होने के पहले मैंने नैतिकता के मूल्यों का हवाला देकर इस्तीफा भी दिया, और जब तक मैं कोर्ट से निर्देश नहीं हुआ, कोई संविधान पद मैंने स्वीकार नहीं किया।
Congress warned it violates the presumption of innocence.
We are going back to medieval times when the king could just remove anybody at will. There's no concept of what an elected person is. He doesn't like your face, so he tells ED, put a case, and then democratically elected person is wiped out within 30 days. This is new.
संशोधन करने वाले विधेयक और 2000
The bills have now been referred to a joint committee of parliament, but the NDA will need a 2/3 majority to push through the constitutional amendment. With Mosmi Singh, Bureau Report, India Today.
And let me go straight to Dr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, Senior Counsel, 4th Term Congress MP and Chair of several parliamentary standing committees, who joins us live on India Today. You have said that this bill is a tool to destabilize opposition governments. But don't citizens deserve a guarantee that ministers facing serious charges cannot continue in office, sir?
All the words you've used earlier, unconstitutional, destabilization, all apply. But were it not so tragic, this would be a very remarkably comic bill, which has been brought, conceived in haste, utterly distorted in design, and obviously brought for ulterior motives. Let me give you a few facets which your viewers may not be aware of. But let me start by saying this is a fantastic new idea to let a police constable, actually not the poor police constable, but the political master of that police constable, remove elected governments right, left and center, or facilitate defections by destabilization, but always of the opposition alone. Why do I say that? Marya, you will appreciate, first and foremost, this is what? It relies on an executive act, not even an executive act, a lowly police officer's act of arrest, which is completely uncertain, completely arbitrary, because there is no legislative determination. Prior to that, anybody can come and arrest any time, and over the very small threshold of 30 days, the minister elected, the chief minister elected will lose his seat. Point one. There is no trial, there is no process, there is no charge, there is no charge sheet, there is no external judicial element. So arrest is on suspicion, on probable cause. I keep you for 30 days and the entire government can be destabilized. Now, the third aspect. This is very delightfully putting the Prime Minister's name in the bill. Do you really think that any central minister or Prime Minister will ever be arrested by a police force of that central agency? Is it not absurd? So clearly this is to be used and misused. And do you really think it will be used against a CM of a BJP ruled state? It is to be used only against ministers or CMs of non-BJP, non-NDA states.
Okay.
It's not obvious. Thirdly, you have actually invented an amazing recipe to encourage and engineer defections. Just a threat or a temporary disappearance, even for 3 months, of the chief minister or the minister can lead to a flood of defections. You have seen already without this bill, the BJP's track record in making and unmaking governments where they have lost the elections. You can imagine how this can be used. Fourthly, you know the kind of biased, non-level playing field you have for the so-called allies of the government, the agencies, be it ED, be it CBI. They are arresting right, left, and center, but wherever a politician is involved, 99% are only that of the opposition. And more than that, the balance 1% or whoever else is there will become completely laundered and whitewashed by the time it goes through the laundry machine.
Okay.
So
Dr.
I will
Singhvi,
end with one more thing, just one more thing.
please go ahead.
There is a presumption of innocence.
Yes.
A presumption of innocence means that at the very minimum, without charges being framed by the court, but actually after conviction only, will you take action like this. Now, there's a hilarious thing. The law already provides that if you, Ms. Shakil, is convicted on anything more than 2 years sentence, you will immediately lose your seat. That the law provides. But today, you have given a go-by to the entire legislative section so-and-so of the Representation of People's Act by the mere below executive act of arrest. You will completely lose your ministership. Now, this thing adding about being reinstated is another farce.
Okay.
If you keep you arrested for 2 months, 6 months is small time, there are many people languishing without bail for 1 year.
Okay.
Do you think the government will survive?
Okay. Dr. Singhvi, then would the Congress support a version of this bill, because it has been sent to the JPC, if additional safeguards against arbitrary arrests and agency misuse were built in?
Absolutely not. This is against the fundamental tenets of democracy, that an executive act of arrest, which is ultimately an executive thinking domain, can lead to the removal of an elected representative. Indeed, it is a direct assault on basic structure for the simple reason that you are allowing the mandate of the people, qua that minister or qua that chief minister, to be nullified. Suppose you are the government in X state, you and 2 ministers of yours, and you're obviously an opposition government, non-NDA, are arrested for 45 days, 3 months, 6 months. It is but obvious the government will fall. So you will change governments in this manner. There can be no safeguards on arrest which can prevent this. It is a ridiculous bill. I hope and trust the select committee, the joint committee does not pass it.
Okay.
If it is passed, it will be struck down as violating basic structure. It will be struck down as violating federalism, because this is maximum use for opposition states across India.
Okay.
And thirdly, it will be violative of all the articles of the Constitution in Part 3, 14, 21, etc., etc.
Dr. Singhvi, then how do you balance the principle of presumption of innocence with the need for constitutional trust in ministers who hold high public offices?
Why? The presumption of innocence means that I make an allegation. Where is the proof of any kind? I can understand one thing. See, there are 2 answers to your question, Marya. Number 1, there is already a law, mind you, not an executive act of arrest, which says if you are convicted. So conviction is a determination of, at the primary level, of the probability and the certainty and the beyond reasonable doubt that you have committed a crime. So long as it carries a sentence of more than 2 years, you'll go to jail and you will lose your seat. What's the problem? There is a law there already. What is the need for this silly law with an executive act? Secondly, if you are so much concerned, you may, I'm not saying I agree, but you may consider a model where you say that in 1, 2, 3, 4 categories of serious heinous crimes, rape, kidnapping, some serious ones, where in that category of 4 or 5 crimes, murder, etc., where the court has framed charges, not charge sheet, court has framed charges, you may consider that the minister, if involved, will step down.
Okay.
Nothing of that is happening here. You are ignoring the existing law of the Representation of People's Act.
Okay.
You are not having any other model where you have a select list of heinous charges with the charges being framed by the court at least. You are having no test, no criterion. You are playing to the galleries. this has no chance of being passed in the first place, but if passed, I can tell you with certainty it will be struck down.
Okay.
So it is somebody's hobby horse, it's somebody's fear mongering, it is somebody's ulterior motive model, it is somebody who's trying to dangle something as a threat or something.
Okay. Dr. Singhvi, my last question, is the opposition's resistance more about protecting political space than genuinely debating the constitutional morality that Amit Shah argues this bill upholds?
Constitutional morality is not upheld by removing elected governments through a police constable acting under the Honorable Home Minister's department. Is that constitutional morality? Constitutional morality is not upheld by destabilizing not that minister or chief minister, but his whole government by keeping him behind bars and delaying bail by 3 to 6 months. Is it constitutional morality in the current context when everybody knows on proven track record, every day we read in the press, the way the ED and the CBI is going haywire? What is arrest? Arrest is nothing. You can arrest anybody anytime in today's world under this BJP government. That will mean that if you're a politician with the chief minister, is that all political morality, constitutional morality, or any morality of any kind which the Honorable Home Minister is addressing? No. This is threat, this is intimidation, this is control freakism, this is running a system where you can say, look, I must have the power of doing and undoing democratically elected governments. And that is completely antithetical to every known spirit, letter and soul of the Constitution.
All right.
That you are supporting it by reference to constitutional immorality. It is the height of constitutional immorality.
All right, Dr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, we really appreciate your time here on the NewsTrack tonight. Joining me now is former Law Minister and senior BJP leader Ravi Shankar Prasad. Mr. Prasad, the government says that this bill strengthens constitutional morality and ensures that ministers facing grave charges cannot remain in office. But doesn't it risk undermining the principle of innocent until proven guilty?
I just heard my good friend Abhishek Manu Singhvi. It was more of a political speech than one dealing with the whole obligations to adhere to constitutional morality in public life. But on a lighter note, Marya, welcome to your new channel. Good luck. I'm talking to you for my legal library. I have also a big library of books of autobiography to others. Politicians do study also. I thought I must remind you gently. Now coming to the issue in question.
Yes, sir.
What this whole bill is about, and the background cannot be lost sight of. When Mr. Kejriwal refused to resign in spite of months in office, the matter was taken to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court said he cannot govern from the jail. But as far as his removal as a chief minister is concerned, we are sorry, there is no provision like that for us to intervene. Remember that. It was very widely debated observations of the court. We will stop him from functioning as a chief minister, as the head of the government, from Tihar jail, but we cannot compel him to resign because there is no law like that. Second thing you must remember, and that's very important, I want your viewers to know it. When the Section 8 was there, in the event you have been unseated in election petition, stay was a matter of course. The Supreme Court said in serious offences you have been disqualified. Why stay as a matter of right? They set aside that provision. And thereafter, do you remember that ordinance came and the great Rahul Gandhi in the great press conference of Press Club said, I will tear it away. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
Mr. Manmohan Singh was in
I was
America.
covering that, sir.
I will throw it in dust. And that I'm very happy to hear that from you. I hope Abhishek records that. The great, very moralizing eloquence of Mr. Rahul Gandhi, which he has completely forgotten. When the bill was prepared, I remember late Arun Jaitley and myself, we took the lead, no, we will not support it. And all the political leaders we tried to persuade our party, and ultimately it was not passed. Today, if you are convicted, you are disqualified.
Okay.
This present law is not against disqualification. The basic thing you must remember, Marya, this is if you are arrested, will you operate the government from jail? That is the height of constitutional immorality.
Okay.
And let me tell all the Congress people and those of the opposition, when the constitution was framed, they never expected कि एक दिन ऐसा आएगा कि जेल जाके नेता सरकार चलाएगा.
लेकिन
they trusted the morality of
yes,
political leaders.
But the question here is
let me just complete. I'll ask reply. I will reply to all your queries.
Go ahead, sir.
Did it not, the gentleman in TMC education minister, his bill was rejected, he remained in minister for so long? You remember that? इसके घर से करोड़ों रुपए मिले थे teachers scam में, appointment scam में. Many other cases were there. Therefore, you are in a position, mind you, 5 years or beyond is the cutoff. That is heinous offences, not ordinary offences.
But sir, here
the
the question
range
is
of attempt to murder, kidnapping for ransom, corruption.
But sir, here the question is that the
Therefore,
government faces
there is a
the
proper
charge
safeguard.
that you are misusing investigating agencies, that they are being weaponized to engineer the arrest of opposition leaders and dislodge elected governments.
Let me reply to that query straight away. You will move for bail in the court, na? Is it your case that the court is also being weaponized? I am asking a very blunt question. The court will examine everything. And by the way, in all the cases of scam, corruption, etc., the consequences has been clear. You are talking to Ravi Shankar Prasad, who has argued the lead PI in the fodder scam in Patna High Court, seeking a CBI inquiry in the bitumen scam. And all big leaders, IAS officers, income tax commissioner went to jail and conviction happened or not. Therefore, these sweeping comments is something not to be appreciated. But the larger issue is, Marya, जमहूरियत लोक क्लास से चलती है, लोकतंत्र लोक क्लास से चलता है. So you mean to say we'll forget all the issues of morality, of transparency, of constitutional ethos, कि भले ही मेरी गिरफ्तारी हो गई है, भले ही मेरे घर से बहुत पैसा निकला है, भले ही मेरे पास बहुत पैसा है, लेकिन मैं तो जेल में रहूंगा तो भी सरकार चलाऊंगा.
लेकिन रविशंकर प्रसाद जी, सवाल ये भी है
आपने नहीं इस्तीफा दिया
कि past Supreme Court judgments have stressed that governors must act on the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers. Does this amendment in effect strengthen the role of the Union Executive over states? These are elected governments.
The reply is very simple. If you do not resign after 30 days, then the law will kick in. It gives you a period of 30 days, one. The second, very important, try to understand that. If you get bail, you can come back. That is the biggest safeguard. Therefore, there are government of the central government, the state government. And Marya, one thing I would like to highlight here. The bill is sought to be passed in the process by the government led by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. And he had kept also within the loop, even if God forbidding, कभी होगा नहीं, मेरे खिलाफ होगा, अमित शाह के खिलाफ होगा, तो हम भी resign करेंगे. And therefore Amit Shah was bold enough to say, the moment I was implicated, though falsely, I immediately resigned and ultimately came back to the office only after getting acquitted.
Okay.
Advani ji, you remember in Hawala, he was implicated, he resigned forthwith. Therefore, the larger issue is, ultimately, do you want to get yourself tested on the bar of constitutional morality and the bar of people's trust, or only fictitious argument of violation of fundamental right of the basic structure? I think democratic governance is also a part of basic structure. Let Abhishek Singhvi know it. And if that is the case, Marya, constitutional morality, propriety is a part of that ethos.
Okay.
You come from Bihar also.
Yes.
Don't you remember during elections with ballot paper what used to happen? There used to be 10-15 murders on every day of polling.
Yes.
Today it is all gone.
Yes, Mr. Prasad, let me ask you my last question, sir, because this is an important point which is being raised by opposition, which is saying that this legislation is draconian in nature. what if the arrest is politically motivated or on frivolous charges? How will you ensure that there are safeguards, enough safeguards that don't lead to misuse of this? If you know, because it will come into effect, you have the numbers to ensure the passage.
That's a very good question. Allow me some time to reply to it. First of all, when the bill will be finalized after the Joint Parliamentary Committee feedback, surely these issues will be addressed. But I have a larger question. Potential of abuse has never been a benchmark of any law. Income tax law is being abused by certain income tax officers. Should we abandon all the income tax laws? Many SHOs do arbitrary arrests. They do. But should we do away with the penal code? You don't do like that now. Therefore, existence or apprehension of abuse cannot become the ground for that, because there is a corrective mechanism in the entire judicial process against that. And that is therefore the bail. You can go for quashing. You can say there is nothing like that. And the courts are there, the Supreme Court is there. Therefore, there is the whole process of legal aspect to address these concerns. And all this fanciful argument is nothing but designed to shield corruption and shield corrupt leaders. That is the point.
All right.
This law addresses those.
All right, Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad, former Law Minister of India, always pleasure speaking to you, sir. Thank you for your perspective and thank you for sharing your thought on the show tonight. That's all from me on this edition of the News Track. Remember, this bill, which has been tabled in the Lok Sabha, will be sent to the Joint Parliamentary Committee. In all, 31 MPs will be part of this JPC, 21 from the Lok Sabha, 10 from the Rajya Sabha. There are several chapters that will be unfolding, particularly in the JPC discussion. We'll continue to track that story very, very closely. That's all from me. Thanks so much for watching.